Oh boy, here we are once again. How's it going? Okay, so water walk. Let's get settled here. Can you see okay? Yeah, it's alright, eh? It'll do. This'll do. Alright, oops, a bit back a bit. Okay. Welcome. I feel like, I feel like we could tilt this a bit. How's that? Yeah, that's better. Oh, quite silty on first run. Yeah. Oh, how's it now? How are you now? How are you now? That's pretty clear actually. Not bad at all. Not get that all dirty. Oh, it's a beautiful day today. Gorgeous day. Slowly, bit by bit, the rains are starting to gradually become a little bit less. So as a consequence, you get like more, often the mornings are like partly cloud, partly sunny, cool. Right now, where I am, maybe first thing in the morning, maybe 18 or 19 degrees, I'd say. Which for here is quite cool, I'll tell you. You know, like when 33 or 35 seem, fairly normal. Hot, but normal. 18 is quite cool, actually, as it turns out. Here in the forest today, oh, you can hear them, eh? It's a multitude of insects just singing away. Some birds too, but it's really, the sound is occupied by the insect sounds, I'd say, you know? And right now at home, the cicadas, well, everywhere the cicadas are just going wild. And sometimes they like to sit right by where I sit on my, like I sort of sit on this outdoor deck that's covered. Spend most of my time there actually if I'm working and things and eating dinner and stuff. And sometimes the cicada will sit by the tree that's right, like, I don't know, 8 feet away, and I checked it on my phone with a decibel meter, and it was in the red zone. So anyway, whenever there's a cicada there that's sticking around, I'll get my broom and just shoo it away. It's a bit much, you know? one bottle filled. So what's new? What's new? Well, there's lots going on in the political front, I guess. People are going bananas over COVID again. Well, not, in the rest of the world, I guess. Some places. What to say? I have a lot of friends that are really worried about it, and some are not in the best of health, and so that's a reasonable worry, but others seem a little bit... I don't know what to say, actually. It's almost as though people are afraid to die. What's that about? Not that it's going to kill you. It's pretty obvious at this stage that the COVID is... Unless you're really sick, With outliers, of course, there's always the outliers. But do not prove the point. But I'd say... But see, what off-kilter philosophy should I dive into now? Like, how about getting up every morning and feeling grateful for breathing the air and, I don't know, seeing the sun or seeing the rain or hearing the insects or whatever. For me, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? And then, like, well, if the day I die, that's okay. I'm good with it. Had a pretty, somewhat life on the full side, I'd say, for myself. I don't know. I guess I would say so, but each their own. Like, here's the thing. I know if I wasn't living here, I could live somewhere else in a similar way, right? Like when I lived with my friends Heidi and David out at this camp out maybe a half a kilometer from their house, and I helped out. The last bit of time I was there, I cooked for them a lot, which was really fun. And anyway, I have a big tent that filled their place. Hey, if anyone's coming out to Thailand, which won't happen right now, obviously, but I want to carry. I have a big tent, a titanium tent stove, and 2 duffel bags at their place still. 6 years they've been hanging on to it for me. They're family, right? I would do anything for them. But anyway. Yeah, if you're coming over and want to haul a bag or 2 with you, let me know, and that would be awesome. Anyway. Yeah. But my point was, if I was living somewhere in a... Rewind. If I was living in the heart of a city, I would go insane. I know that. I'm good for a short time, like a few days, even a week. But by the end of a week, I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, get me out of here. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that, but on a full-time level, it would be impossible for me. I know. So my general sense of philosophy of life would probably be quite different. You know what I mean? Despair would settle in. Let's have a drink of water. Well, anyway, I know what I like, and so I'm fortunate to be able to live somewhere like this. Like, insanely fortunate. That's all I can say. Every day I'm like, wow, I mean, I have my bad days, right? Like we all do. I got days where I'm like, but generally speaking, so anyway, that's that. Best water in the world. Cheers. Oh, see that? Oh, an amazing dragonfly. Blue and black. It was a stealth dragonfly. Great. Okay, so now what? I don't know. You know, when I used to do these water walks and I talk about the environment, and that was really what it was about, you know, and I don't seem to go there so much now. Occasionally I'll touch on the politics. Occasionally I'll touch on the, what do you call it, the social justice warrior thing, which is irritating at times. Politics, which is always irritating. I don't know. Now I'm just babbling is what it comes down to. If I can talk about kendo, then that's my favorite thing. But I could say that, you know, this time of year is when the Arctic sea ice is at its lowest point. And the lowest point so far, in terms of area, was 2012. And this year we didn't cross it. We were very, very close to crossing it. So, that on the surface looks positive. However, if you look at the volume, like the ice thickness graphs that you can find around, it's very clear that the ice now is much, much thinner, right? There's very little of that multi-year thick ice, like 2 meters thick anymore. If any, is there any 2 meter thick ice left? Maybe there's bits near the northern Canadian archipelago, or archipelago, as Paul Beckwith calls it. I guess you can say it both ways. Anyway, yeah, it's very, very thin, mushy scene, apparently. Not that I've been there. I have been in the Arctic, but not recently. Anyway, yeah, so that's an issue, I would say. The other thing that's interesting, though, if you look at the graph, like 2012 came down here, maybe this year was right here, but now 2012 is starting to rise, and our ice is almost at the same point, right? So it could be that soon the ice area will be at its lowest point for this date, right? Obviously, the lowest point was back in September. So that's interesting to me. Okay, I am talking about the ecosystem stuff. Yay! So one thing that struck me, and I don't know, I'm not a Arctic sea ice scientist by a long shot. Although actually, through high school, my whole high school, all I wanted to do was become a wildlife biologist and focus on Arctic. That's all I wanted to do. Anyway, but it turns out I was more of an artist type, and I don't know, next life maybe? Maybe being an Arctic wildlife biologist would just be too heartbreaking to bear. I don't know. It'd be great. You know, it'd be amazing, of course. Anyway, yeah, so point. Yeah, so, but I was saying, one thing that struck me a few years ago was like, oh, it might not be the summers, the low ice summers that hit the ice harder. It might be the winters, you know what I mean? Like just throwing this out as a general concept, because caveats have been said, that maybe the fact of milder winters, perhaps winters with more storms, or whatever the situation becomes, it might be the winter that becomes a critical factor in what the overall sea ice level becomes. See what I mean? Like, if you had really hot summers and the ice area became really small, but then really cold winters, like 40, 50 below for ages, you know, then the ice can then build up, you know what I mean? But if you end up having winters where, I mean, there's been times in the northern areas like Svalbard and Ellesmere Island, Greenland, whatever, Siberia, where the temperatures in the winter have hit freezing, right? Like 0. And even warmer a few times. So this is what I think. I think that this is a possibility. That it might be the non-summer years that become the critical factor. But having said that, probably it all together works as a critical factor. Anyway, off we go. I'm gonna start walking. Look, I brought out the hiking kilt today. It's cool enough to wear one. But you see, I have... it's nice to hike in a kilt and not wear underwear. It's really nice. Freedom! But you know, at this time of year, you kind of want to wear something because of leeches. The last thing is you want a leech crawling up. Anyway, we'll leave that at that. Okay, see you in a bit. Let's have a look at, see what the forest is like now. It's quite damp actually. Here's what happens. Well, we had a fair rain, not last night, but the night before. Pretty much rained all night. Nothing heavy, we didn't lose power, nothing. But here's what happens is that now the forest is completely saturated, right? And, you know, the rains will slowly peter off. We'll still keep getting some, like in November there'll be some, and even December there'll probably be some. And, but bit by bit, it'll be rain less and less. Start to dry out. But it also starts to get cooler, right? Now, if the rains were stopping and it was the hot season, then it would dry out much more quickly. But as it stands now, as the rains stop, the temperatures will start to get cooler, and so it takes less time. It takes more time for the forest to evaporate the water out of it. Simple as that. So anyway, things will still stay pretty damp, pretty humid for a while yet. Like, things really, I'd say things start to really dry out usually in January, but not always, sometimes February. Anyway, so that's that. But it's lovely to, you know, have the not rain. I'm going to stretch this out a bit. It's lovely that it's, you know, more clear skies, and it's great for hopping on the motorbike. It's great for going hiking in the woods. My favorite thing. Start doing that more. I'll do some more videos of me going up the ridge and stuff. Yeah. Okay, I'll be back in a sec. It's a tangled garden, no mistake. Wow, get this beautiful, with the sun coming in and out, get these beautiful soft lighting situations on the plants and the mountains. Beautiful. Woo, look at that blue sky. Woohoo! Love it, love it. Oh yeah, lovely day, lovely morning we'll say. It'll probably rain this afternoon. Well, it rained yesterday afternoon actually, for a bit. Anyway, yeah, so lovely morning. So I guess that's about it. I guess the main, I don't know what the main point was. I mean, I did talk about the Arctic sea ice. That's something. That's sort of why I can't really take the politics that seriously. Trump, I mean, you know, he's got his issues, I guess. He's done a couple of good things, though. He's like, what is he? He said he's going to go after the pharmaceutical industry. Yeah, maybe that means Bill Gates and his damn vaccine or whatever. Anyway, and what else? Oh yeah, the critical race theory. He banned that from federal whatever agencies, schools, who knows. Anyway, which is good. I mean, you might think, oh, it's good. Critical race theory is good, but look at James. What's his name? James Lindsay. Lindsay. Anyway, and Helen Pluckrose and that bunch. They talk about that whole world, and so this is a good thing. Anyway, I'm not saying he's a good president, obviously. Anyway, whatever. But for me, it's like, oh well, next to those fools, the Arctic sea ice is like, it's the thing, right? And in many ways. Anyway, that's about it. Hey, hope everyone's doing well. Doing pretty good over here. I have a bit of a composition job actually. Doing some background music, kind of like soundtrack to some voiceover. And that's going to occupy me quite a bit for the next few months. And that's great. I haven't done that sort of music composition work in years actually. You know, I came out here mostly to make instruments, and that's really what I want to do. If anyone wants a guitar, I got 3 still. Beautiful instruments, high-end, full-on. They're real thing, right? They can want to do a concert. These are your guitars, and they're a good price for what they are. Anyway, I'm such a terrible salesperson. Anyway, yeah, and I got the Patreon tag, you know, screens at the beginning, at the end. If you feel like you want to contribute to the creation of this videos and other things, please feel free to do so. And there's that thumb thing you can do like, you can do subscribes, and you can click that bell if you want to get notifications. I don't often do the whole blurb, right? But I thought I might today. So you can click the bell and get notifications. I guess you get notified with every video I freaking do, usually once a week or so. But if you don't want to, and you just want to happen on them just by chance, like sometimes, feel free to do that too. I do that a lot with various channels I'm subscribed to. You know, I just sort of stumble on them, and I kind of like that. Anyway, hope everyone's doing okay, and those who are not well, hope you get better soon, and thinking of you, and à la prochaine. Ciao. Oh, look at that. I can see right across the city into what's probably Doi Suthep, right in that notch there. Oh, beautiful skies today. Beautiful clear air. Lovely. Sawadee-ka. สบายดีไหม สวยใช่ไหม ดอกสวยมาก สวัสดีค่ะ สบายดีไหมขอโทษครับใช่ใช่สวยมากอันหมู่บ้านที่นั่นด้วยค่ะ
ไกลไหม
ใช่ไม่ไกล maybe อาจจะ500 เมตร maybe อาจจะ
อยู่ที่นี่เหรอคะ
ใช่ฉันอยู่ที่นั่นนะคะใช่
ทำรีสอร์ทเหรอเปิดห้องเหรอ
ไม่เข้าใจค่ะขอโทษ
เปิดบ้านพักเหรอ
โอ้เพื่อนคนฉันมีบ้านและฉันอยู่ที่นั่น
อ๋อ
เปิดหมู่บ้านที่นั่นไม่ไกล
อ่ะ
สวยโอเคโชคดีบายบาย วัสดีค่ะสบายดีไหม
สบายดี
ดีไปไหนหมู่บ้านนะคะ
ใช่หมู่
ใช่
บ้าน
โอเค
ไกลไหม
ใช่ไม่ไกลนะ
ไม่ไกล
อาจจะแค่500 เมตร
ขอบคุณค่ะ
โอเค Okay, well, there's a bit of walking on the road and meeting people. Don't usually do that, but it seemed kind of fun today. Okay. วันนี้ทำเองวิดีโอ I should put your Garrett homestay. This is a beautiful place. Maybe I. Yeah.
Wait until I think maybe early December.
Uh huh.
These
Oh, ใช่
the Thai sakura
ใช่ Oh, that's so beautiful, no?
and this year they grow up very fast.
Oh, really?
That's right. It's gonna be another highlight.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
for-
It's
for
so
this
beautiful. Oh, yeah. Thai sakura. Thai sakura ภาษาไทยพูดว่ายังไง
พญาเสือโคร่ง
พญาเสือ
โคร่ง
เสือโคร่ง
the tiger
tiger ใช่
Bengal tiger
ใช่ beautiful